Hi again, this is AZC2. It came to my mind yesterday that someone acquainted with a good friend of mine killed his 2 children and then killed himself in the garage of his family home in Huntingdale in the southeast of Perth. Earlier, this man had posted that he was suffering depression and that he was in a dark place. In Singapore recently, there was a man who killed his twin 11-year-old sons and dumped their bodies in a canal in Bukit Panjang. The Bukit Panjang incident itself was shocking, and what happened in Huntingdale was, well, for want of a better phrase, the icing on the cake. Dads killing their children. Now, most people would think they are monsters, but for a dad to kill their kids, it means something inside the dad had snapped and caused him to do what he did. Indika Gunathilaka had he and his wife were divorced, and she had custody of the kids, and he was supposed to hand them over to her, but he didn't turn up at the appointed time, and she raised the alarm, and her husband and the kids were found dead in their house. Xavier was most likely the caregiver for his twin 11-year-old sons, Ethan and Ashton. Both kids had special needs. It's very likely that Yap was under a lot of stress and he was no longer able to take it. It's quite possible that his family might be facing some financial problems. Yap's actions have many echoes of Rebecca Lowe in 2013, in which she threw her special needs son out of the window of their apartment block. It doesn't matter where you are, both men didn't get the help they deserved. The circumstances for them killing their kids may be very different, but it is clear that something inside these men must have driven them over the edge and caused them to commit unspeakable acts of violence. I can hardly blame them. When I myself was in a dark place, as I mentioned before in the previous video a few months back, where I spoke about the River Valley High and St. Joseph Institution incidents. My heart goes out to Cohen and Lily Gunathilaka, as well as Ethan and Ashton Yap. These kids were innocent. They didn't ask to be killed in such horrible fashion, but they were. And the person who killed them was someone close to them, who was supposed to be their protector, their nurturer, their own fathers. It is every father's instinct to protect his children from harm, not to inflict harm on them like this. When under normal circumstances, Indika and Yap would have been, your day-to-day family man, ordinary people on the street, totally harmless. But their health issues pushed them over the edge. They didn't get the help they needed. And this is what happened. The system in their respective countries had failed the kids. Unfortunately, they won't be the last, and they're certainly not the first. Until a safety net has been devised by the government of the day, more of this is going to happen. Rebecca Lowe killed her son 9 years ago. Nothing has changed since then. It's quite heart-wrenching when we see what unfolded in Bukit Panjang. And what happened in Huntingdale, that's on another scale. I've seen comments on Indika's profile where he mentioned about the year of justice would be coming. It was a post he made on the 1st of January, and all the comments started pouring in yesterday, just before the page was memorialized and all comments were turned off. Everybody was flaming him. They were calling him an evil monster, and they wanted him to rot in the 18th level of hell. Yes, what he did is inexcusable. But he had been going through a rough time. And as a result, he wasn't able to think straight. People said that he has entrapped his ex-wife permanently in pain because her children are dead. But if he was a controlling and jealous person, as some others mentioned, his death would have liberated her to find someone else, move on, start afresh. If anything, his parents are the ones who are going to suffer the most, because their son is a double murderer who committed suicide. They lost their son and their grandchildren just like that. The Gunathilaka family are the ones who need our thoughts and prayers. We should all keep them in our mind during this difficult period. And we should also pray for the Yap family of Bukit Panjang. They've lost their twin sons, and they lost their father because he's now in custody for killing his two sons. On that note, I will sign off. Goodbye.